Hello and welcome back. One of the key aspects that we need to address while preparing for an exam is to review abnormal or non-routine vocabulary. Of course, exams are designed during or taking into account non-routine vocabulary, and that means that they're going to try to trap you into adapting to these situations. Therefore, we need to definitely prepare the vocabulary. So as you can see, this is an exam preparation again, abnormal vocabulary. And today we're talking about very specifically physical symptoms of people on board. So as I mentioned, the objective is to review expressions and vocabulary related to physical symptoms of a person on board, passengers or crew members. Disclaimer is very important. This is an aviation English lesson, not an operational or medical training. So please review your manuals. So let's begin with low urgency symptoms. These are going to be characterized by being mild, light, transient, non-repetitive, localized, or small. So number one, nausea.
Passenger on 21, Charlie, says she feels somewhat nauseated.
To feel nauseated, to feel nausea, or to want to vomit. Number two, the action of vomiting.
I have a passenger in the aft galley who just threw up in the toilet.
So to vomit, to throw up, or to puke in less formal circumstances. Now we have abdominal pain or cramps.
A woman in business class is complaining of abdominal cramps.
Then we have the classic headache.
One of the unaccompanied minors has a bit of a headache.
Then we have a laceration or a cut, but in this case, for example, small.
There is a passenger who has a small cut on his arm.
Finally, we have dizziness or wooziness, feeling lightheaded, meaning that you feel you are going to lose consciousness. You are weak, let's say.
I have a passenger sitting in the forward galley. She's feeling rather woozy.
Now let's move on to mid-urgency symptoms. These are characterized by being moderate, frequent, continuous, persistent, repetitive, or recurrent. For example, continuous diarrhea.
The passenger has been suffering from continuous diarrhea in the last 15 minutes.
Now we have shortness of breath, feeling difficulty breathing.
The passenger in 18 Alpha says he's having trouble breathing.
Chest discomfort or chest pain.
I have a gentleman in the front complaining of chest pain.
And a brief loss of consciousness. Loss of consciousness is something that is definitely not good news, and just losing consciousness and then waking up is a brief loss of consciousness.
A lady lost consciousness for a couple of minutes.
Now let's move on to high urgency symptoms. The characteristics of these symptoms are that they're severe, acute, unstoppable, uncontrollable, or profusely in case of bleeding, for example. In this case, unresponsiveness.
We have an unresponsive passenger blocking the aisle.
So this person fainted, they lost consciousness, and they have not gained it back. Number two, to convulse or to have a seizure.
There is a child in the aft cabin suffering a seizure.
Number three, hemorrhage, so profusely bleeding.
A passenger is bleeding heavily from a severe leg laceration.
A severe leg laceration or a severe cut. Now let's move on to more complex situations. So for example, the first one is anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis is a severe allergic reaction. This is accompanied by hives, swelling of the throat, of the eyes, difficulty breathing, fainting, low blood pressure, vomiting, diarrhea, cold sweat, among many, many others.
There is a woman in anaphylactic shock in the forward galley.
Then we can talk about the stroke. A stroke is lack of blood supply to the brain, so the face droops, the speech becomes difficult, They have a severe headache, loss of balance, sudden weakness.
One of our first-class passengers appears to be having a stroke.
Then we have some sort of cardiac ailment. It could be a heart attack or a cardiac arrest. This comes with chest pain or pressure, palpitations, shortness of breath, or dizziness.
There is a middle-aged man in business class, possibly having a heart attack.
And finally, we have a hyperglycemic crisis, also known as ketoacidosis. This situation is insulin deficiency on diabetic patients, of course. So it comes with vomiting, rapid breathing, tachycardia, etc.
A passenger is having a DKA crisis. He missed his last insulin shot.
DKA. The characteristics is that these include also psychological symptoms, like, for example, panic attacks or stress, a feeling of impending doom as well, for example. Now let's talk about some miscellaneous situations. For example, the first one is a pregnant lady who is having a baby on board. That is called to go into labor.
The pregnant lady at the back is going into labor.
Or the pregnant lady at the back is having the baby. Number two, heat stroke. So heat stroke is when it's high season during summer, the APU is not working, and we are forced to have the passengers on board. Eventually, people are going to start suffering from something called a heat stroke.
We have some passengers suffering from heat stroke.
Then we have dehydration. Dehydration is not having enough water content in the body.
The passenger is now showing symptoms of dehydration.
After this, we have a suspected overdose or poisoning. Could be similar. Overdose meaning that the passenger consumes illegal substances and he has taken a bigger dose than, let's say, a dangerous dose instead.
There is a man suffering from what looks like an overdose.
And finally, of course, we have death.
The doctor has just declared the passenger dead.
So let's recap. In this video, we went through some vocabulary, abnormal or non-routine vocabulary, regarding physical symptoms of the people on board. And we went from low urgency to high urgency. We explored complex situations. And on top of that, we added some miscellaneous situations as well. Thank you for watching. Please leave your comments and questions, add anything that I have missed to raise my situational awareness, and I'll include it for one of the next videos. Subscribe for more content and share with a colleague that might be preparing for the exam. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.